If you are wondering how much yellow one woman can wear in a week, you are about to find out, and it is a lot. Yes, yes. So, okay, yesterday I talked about a financial activity you could do while you're sheltered in place, which was basically what you would spend in normal life versus sheltered life and saving the normal life. So if you didn't see that video and you have any interest, please check it out, because I think it will actually make a significant dent in anything you're saving for right now. It is a huge jump start, and it's a way to make something positive out of something that is terrifying, scary, and keeps me awake at night. Yeah, yay. Anyways, okay, so today we're gonna talk about ways to earn extra money while you're trapped at home. I mean, sheltered at home, while you're sheltered, not trapped, yes. So here's what we've got. I actually started an experiment last year. So as I'm sure you can imagine, I buy a lot of clothes, way too many. And I give a lot of clothes away because I buy a lot of aspirational clothes. Ladies, you may know what I mean. I also used to be the queen of, oh my God, it's 70% off, I must have it. Yes, and I've gotten rid of a lot of those habits this year, and the way I did it was actually by selling clothes, seriously. And I'm sure you guys have heard about this before, but if you haven't, so I looked at 3 of the big sites to see where I could make the most money selling clothes I don't wear. Now, the reason I'm talking about this right now to you is because you have nothing better to do. If you're not sheltered at home, you probably will be very soon. And let me tell you, as someone who's been sheltered at home for 2 weeks now, the weekends are long. Yeah. They're long. It's time to go through your closet. It's time to take anything you don't need and turn it into gold, because based on everything we're seeing, gold is good. Yes. So the 3 sites I looked at were The Real, Poshmark, and the name, it always escapes me. Hold on. I just looked it up again. And I've sent this company like 85 bags of clothes. Let's see if it comes up quick. ThredUp. Okay, so ThredUp, Poshmark, and The Real. And here's what I found. So first of all, The Real is designer only, and I don't have a ton of designer stuff. Like, I've never been the woman who can hand my credit card over for a $500 dress. Like, it makes me tremble. So if you do have designer goods, it is a great place to sell them. I had a couple things I'd gotten as gifts, and I was able to resell them on that site. I felt like the way they handled it was really good. I didn't feel ripped off. It didn't make me hate that I had sent them my items. I felt very positive about it. Okay. So The Real, if you have designer goods, it is the easiest way to sell something. It really is, okay? Now, the second way that's super easy to sell stuff is ThredUp. And ThredUp is, they take all your everyday brands, so your Gap, your Old Navy, all those sorts of brands, and then they send you a bag or they give you a prepaid label. You put everything in, they go through it, and then they list it on their site. They put it on mannequins and everything. But the only thing I think ThredUp is really good for is if you want to depress yourself into never shopping again. Yeah, because what would happen is you'd be like, oh, okay, let's say you have a cute top and you're like, well, that's a really cute top and I spent $30 on it. And it's like, we just sold your super cute top for $10. And you're like, oh, that's good. That's great, right? Your commission is 80 cents. Really? Okay, I guess, and I have to say that ThredUp was so good for me, because every time I go online to shop now, I think about what I would make on ThredUp, and it stops me, because sometimes it's crazy offensive. Like, I got a couple where it's like, your commission is 3 cents. I was like, and it was like a top that had a tag on it that I had never worn. And it really puts in perspective how much money you're wasting when you buy clothing that you're not gonna wear. And so I think ThredUp is great for that. I think that if you have a ton of clothing and you're just like, you don't necessarily want to do Goodwill or a charity and you want to see what you can get, I think it can be great for that. But if you're expecting to make a lot of money, I wouldn't suggest it. And I might get some hate over this, but I didn't have the best experience. and I would be sending some pretty nice stuff where I was like, and they would make good money off of it, but my cut was like nothing. And I think I sent them, oh my goodness, like 5 bags of stuff, like 5 big bags. And I think the total I made was probably $100, $150 maybe, somewhere in there. So great for getting rid of stuff, but don't hold your breath for a high return. Okay. The one I really liked was Poshmark. So I don't know if you guys have checked out Poshmark. If you haven't, like, I feel like the interface is really hard to shop on, so I don't shop on it, but I think it's really good to sell on, because basically you take pictures of your own clothes, you describe them, you list the price, and then it's up to you whether or not you want to sell it at what the person offers. Sometimes if you price something appropriately, it goes fast, like within a minute. And what I thought was super interesting is the stuff that I thought would go fast didn't. And the stuff that I was like, really? It went fast. So it's like any activewear, your activewear is going to go fast. Everybody wants activewear, especially if it's, you know, one of the higher end brands. They're going to want that. That's going to go. Even if you have like, you know, a Sweaty Betty pair of pants for $30, that will sell at $30. What doesn't sell, which is interesting, is you could have like a beautiful black leather skirt that is just way too small now because you grew up, and that doesn't sell, even if you put it at $10. So it is brand driven for sure. But you do want to, it's where I will continue to sell stuff. It's where I highly recommend. So while you're trapped at home right now, go through your closet, you know, and based on what you're trying to accomplish, try all 3. And the one thing I can say about Poshmark, since you are listing it yourself, it seems like it's going to be a lot of work. It's not, you know, and you'll still like, and if you're like, well, I don't want to promote it to my friends and family on Facebook and Pinterest. I agree. Like, I don't need some weird situation where someone's buying an old dress. Like, I don't know. So I didn't promote, and I was still able to sell a bunch of stuff. So if you're kind of shy about that, don't worry about it. You don't have to promote it. It will still sell. You just have to wait. Sometimes it takes 6 months. Sometimes stuff doesn't sell. Sometimes stuff does. It's a learning game. But you know what? It's money in your pocket that you wouldn't have otherwise. And if you have a bunch of clothes sitting there with dust right now, use this time to turn dust into dollars. Yes, dust into dollars. I'm going to have to use that a lot now. Okay. That was the clothing segment. Now let's move on to like one of my favorite websites, Fiverr.com. Have you guys checked out Fiverr? Fiverr. I don't know if there's 2 R's on it or 3, but it's not like normal. Anyways, check it out. There's all these jobs that you can do from your house that people will pay you for. So for instance, a long time ago, I used to have all my videos transcribed because I was going to write a book. I still should write a book, but I don't have time to do anything. So I had everything transcribed because I was going to turn it into a book. And I'd pay someone like $5 a video to do it. It doesn't sound like a lot of money, but on Fiverr, it's a really great way. If you're like, day 27, shelter at home, I can't watch any more TV, I've binge watched everything, make some money. And there's some really funny stuff on there. When I first started my business out, you kind of have to get attention, right? So, they'd have a guy in a banana suit and I could pay him $5 and he'd be like, go with Jennifer Beeston, just silly, silly stuff. So it's like, if you have a crazy costume at your house, I bet you could go on Fiverr and you could make some money off that crazy costume. You could just hold a sign with someone's name and be like dancing, and I bet you'd get $5. It's easy money, right? I mean, it's easy money. Put on the costume, make some money. So lots of different stuff on there. And there is stuff that, of course, is more expensive. So if you specialize in graphics or web design, there's so many different categories and there's so many ways to make money. I love that site. I love it. I just love it. It's like American entrepreneurialism at its best. It's super fun. So check it out. If you have a skill, use it. If you don't have a skill, throw on a costume. And if you don't want to do any of it, support the people who are doing it. So those are kind of what I'm doing right now. You've got all the clothing sites, you've got Fiverr, great ways to make extra money while you're trapped in home. Try to make the best of a situation, which is, what do we even say? Turn lemons into lemonade. How's that? We'll end on that. So I hope this has been helpful. If you have any questions or comments, if on the clothing, if there's a site or a service I missed, that's awesome, tell me. Like, I need to sell more clothes. It's out of control. Like, I hate the waste. And also, if you Google it, it's actually really good for the environment, because there is an issue with fast fashion, which is affecting our environment in a very negative way. So it's not just a money grubbing thing. It also is doing better for our planet. And then, you know, think about it. If you're buying something for $30 and someone is able to buy it and it's in really good condition for $5, you're helping people who normally wouldn't be spending that much money on clothes get really good clothing at a fair price. So there is a lot of good to it without it just being money grubbing. So I just want to be super clear about that, because a lot of people think it's like, oh, tacky and cheap, and, you know, oh, you only do that if you're desperate. No, you do that if you, A, care about the planet, B, don't want to light your money on fire, and C, understand that it's good for everyone. Okay? So thank you for watching, and I will see you tomorrow in yellow.